So the bat wings, my kids
So
are
the back
licking.
bat wing.
It's the lip flip. She got one too. She has a new lip flip too, and so it takes a few days to learn how to navigate that.
It does take a little bit of time to learn how to talk. It's just going to be a game changer for arms. It's a game changer for abs. It's a game changer for buttocks. It's just going to be a game changer for arms and calves.
When you were talking earlier and we were talking kind of about those percentages and the muscle mass increase, it dawned on me that I said, you can't buy that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we did. We bought it.
You have it now.
I know. Well, and for years though, I've been running around for years saying, okay, the best thing I ever did was get help cleaning my house. That's the best thing I ever did.
Just think of what you're using.
Well, yeah. And now I don't even have to go to the gym that often to get those kind of muscles that I want. So I can do my normal 3 to 4 days a week at the gym. I'm not trying to set the world on fire. I'm trying to be healthy and strong. And then I can come in here and do my biceps, abs, buttocks, legs.
Everything, and it just adds to what you're doing out there. So what you're doing is just becoming a stronger version of yourself.
That when we're talking about strength, I mean, it is about, I mean, all of us, you know, I think it depends on the age maybe, because I see a different reason up here for coming to get M-Sculpt. We have our patients who might be, you know, a little bit younger. They're not me, they're not 40. I'm in the other group, not this one.
Oh, I'm in the 40 group.
You know, my young guys, young girls, they want big muscles and they want to be cute. They want that edge at the gym. It's that summer body.
It's a
more
product
aesthetic.
that's there for everybody. You know, if you're younger and wanting that, it's going to give you that. It's going to help you achieve that. If you're older and wanting to be able to have a stronger core to pick up your child, or you're even older than that and wanting to be able to play with your grandkids and stay ahead of the curve instead of falling behind of the curve. A lot of what happens is injury, life, just not enough time. And we all know, I mean, we know as women that it's just so much harder, especially as you get to a certain age. And so to have this, that helps you sort of give you the push to get back into the gym, or give you the strength while you're in the gym, or just overall just makes you feel better. With one treatment, you get a stronger core.
Absolutely. So, and you can see the difference. A lot of people who are coming in here, and I can think of 2 patients off the top of my head that really weren't doing anything. They weren't doing any kind of physical activity outside of this. And since, because of the response that they've seen, now they are. Now they're eating better, they're at the gym, they're drinking their water, because you get excited when you feel better and look better. You get excited, you want to do all the other things. I do want to know, so because I already forgot the percentage, and so I need to lock it in anyway, percentages are, I mean, you know, people get different results, but generally speaking, if I do the 4 procedure package of biceps, what percentage of muscle mass increase am I looking for? And does it reduce volume, the little fat around my muscle?
You know, it's going into the muscle part of it, we're looking at with bicep about 17%, with tricep around 10%, with calves around 14%. So it's really just what you're going to get with that muscle. I think you're going to get that more defined arm, that more defined calf.
But that percentage in a small area,
and those are with our
huge
studies with that 4 treatments, and it's just, you know, what happens when you build muscle.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good.
Awesome.
What is this, part of No Shave November?
Yes, it is. Yes. So myself and some of the other members at our office are recognized November as Cancer Awareness and Awareness of Cancer Research. So we're going to do the No Shave November.
I'm doing it on my legs, not my face.
Okay. Well, that's between you and Cody.
A case of still in our bed. Nobody cares. Tonight we're going to be talking about the opioid epidemic in West Texas and really in just addiction in general.
Yes.
And what that looks like out here. Our facility is doing the Amy Bell Blue Bag Project right now. It's to help the homeless and provide things that they might need in bags that they can use to store their things, because that's an issue in the homeless community out here. Homelessness and addiction seem to go hand in hand.
Yes,
Is
very
that
much so.
the case? Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that, Dr. Beck, and what does that look like? Where does that start?
I don't know anybody in life that starts out saying one day I want to be homeless. But what happens is things happen in people's lives, whether it's a veteran with PTSD or somebody that suffers from addiction. Addiction is a disease. Alcoholism, at least, was recognized by the American Medical Association in 1964 as a disease. That's 55 years ago. And I think some people in our country still think it's about lack of willpower or poor morals or things like that. But you're right, as far as addiction and homelessness, a lot of people out there that are homeless suffer from addiction of one type, whether it's to opiates, whether it's alcohol, whether it's methamphetamine, they suffer from addiction. And because of that addiction, they feel trapped. They feel like they can't go anywhere. They may not know where to go to get help. So, but there is a high incidence of addiction in our homeless people, no question. So I think it's great. It's awesome that you are helping participate in something that's going to help our homeless. And I think, I don't know if there's any way to help the homeless people with addiction, or somehow put something in there, a note or something, but let them know that we know that they're struggling, and that, there are people out there. There are ways to get help.
Dr. Beck, you inspire me because of all that you do with Springboard and Turning Point. Mm-hmm. I just went blank. Yeah. But that's where a lot of all your free time, because I know you have so much, Dr. Beck, but that's where all your free time that you don't have, and your resources, your time, your energy. Yeah. I really want people to understand what you do and kind of your role in those places, and just give us a good idea of what addiction out here looks like, and what we're facing out here in West Texas.
Well, first of all, I want to start with I have a real passion for people and recovery, people that want to get better. My primary medical practice is West Texas Urgent Care, and as you said, we have 2 offices here in Midland and soon to be a 3rd in Odessa, and I'm really excited about that. But I am the medical director for Springboard here in Midland and Turning Point in Odessa, both of which are excellent drug and alcohol treatment centers. They both cater to slightly different populations, but it doesn't matter. They're both based on the 12 steps of recovery, and they both are very effective. The key for getting help with addiction is, first of all, you have to admit that you have a problem. If a person cannot admit that they have a problem with addiction, whether it's to alcohol, opiates, amphetamine, whatever the case may be, all the treatment in the world is not going to help them. Sometimes it takes them going to that treatment center to help them realize that they do have a problem, however, I'll say that. And then in recognizing that their life is unmanageable, that their life is out of control because of that addiction. But anyway, so yes, I am the medical director for 2 drug and alcohol treatment centers. Our offices also have prescribers that are available that are appropriately designated to prescribe Suboxone, which is a synthetic opiate type medication for replacement treatment for addiction. But as I tell all of the people that come in for Suboxone treatment, our goal is to taper you off of everything. I just don't feel like long-term maintenance, this is my opinion when I say this, that Suboxone is a great option for long-term treatment for addiction, opiate addiction, that is. But that is my opinion. You'll see some varying opinions from medical providers that think that Suboxone is something that can be continued for a lifetime. All that does is, Suboxone treatment is not treatment for addiction. All it does is help occupy those opiate receptors in the brain. The problem is not the drugs. The problem in an addict is between the ears, right here in their head. They have a problem with addiction. It is not drugs or alcohol. The problem is right between their ears. So, and I try to stress that thing to all the people that I work with, whether it's in the office or at one of the treatment centers. Again, as I said, I just have a real passion for addiction, and I love being able to help those people. And so do the providers that work for me.
What do you think in West Texas, what do you see, because you are at Turning Point and you are at Springboard, what do you see out here are our leading problems as West Texans? What do we struggle with the most out here? Is it opiates? Is it alcohol? Is it?
I think that there's a mixture in West Texas. We're not unlike other areas of the country where, the disease process is, spreads, like I said, it crosses all socioeconomic barriers. I think, we are definitely seeing more heroin problems than we used to, because what's happened is, as there have been tighter restrictions on the prescribing of some of the stronger opiate medications, You see people that normally were taking a large amount of pain pills or hydrocodone or oxycodone, and they can no longer get them, so they're branching over to heroin, say. And you don't always know what you're getting when a person buys heroin. Some people are familiar with the term China White, which is fentanyl. Fentanyl is a totally synthetic opiate-like medication that is very strong. I mean, it's extremely potent, and there are derivatives of fentanyl that can be put in there too. So some of the heroin, the natural opium-type product heroin, what they'll do is, in order to get those people even addicted stronger, or to get them to come back, they will cut it with fentanyl and other things. But and so we're seeing more and more heroin being abused because people are going from prescription opiate pills over to heroin. But again, we always see a steady level of addiction to alcohol, and I think we see probably more than the average rate of addiction to methamphetamines here, because we have a lot of people who are out here working. They may not live here permanently in the Permian Basin. They may live permanently in Dallas or Houston or Louisiana or Mississippi or Alabama, and they're out here working. So in order to help either whether it's boredom or to adjust to a stressful life of working long hours, they may use methamphetamine to help them stay awake. And methamphetamine is not near as expensive as cocaine, for instance. We still see some cocaine addiction problems, but much more common to see methamphetamine addiction.
So because it's cheaper, it's more accessible.
Exactly.
And I mean, a lot of these guys are dealing with a lot of chronic pain issues. Those jobs are not easy on the body.
No.
I can imagine that y'all see it from that too. That's kind of what I was wondering, if that's what you deal with there.
Yeah, sometimes. And I also would like to bring up one point, Marcy, where in the medical board in Texas and in other states, and the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, is really scrutinizing and monitoring the prescribing habits of physicians. And I think it's the certain providers, there are bad apples out there when it comes to prescribers, as well as everything else out there. There are bad apples, and the majority of the time, the people that have problems that get in trouble are those prescribers that are over-prescribing. But there are people out there that have real chronic pain disorders and that do benefit from regularly taking an opiate type medication. And I feel bad for some of those people because they are getting left out. They are getting passed over. Some of the pain management doctors are saying, we can no longer prescribe this medication for you. We're going to have to wean you off. And I hope you find some way to deal with your chronic pain. These are not the people that abuse or misuse or overtake their medications. These are the people that come in on a regular basis. They're not using or misusing other substances. They never come in saying that they lost their prescription or the dog ate it. These are people with real pain. So I think there is, because of all of the publicity about the opiate epidemic, it's a small subset, it's a small percentage of people that are getting left out, that are getting looked over, that are getting, I think, in some cases, mistreated or maltreated because of the negative publicity related to the opiate epidemic.
And so you have, prescribers trying to CYA, and then you're leaving out the population of people who truly need these things and they're not abusing them.
Correct.
It's hard to treat the general population when there is so much abuse, I'm sure. That's the daily struggle where you are.
Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit about our new baby in-house that we're all excited about, the InMode Triton hair removal system. It took us a minute to pull the trigger on hair removal because, Bailey, we've been doing this a really long time, babe, and you've used hair removal systems for a long time. There hasn't been anything, we used old diodes, we used whatever, but there hasn't been anything that shook the world up in hair removal. Nothing that new or nothing that different. You had some lasers that were better for darker, coarse hair, some that were better but not very effective on your lighter, thinner hair. This is the first hair removal system that is a mosaic of wavelengths. And so you're combining 3 of your most popular wavelengths. So we're targeting hair at all stages of growth. It makes it faster, far more efficient, and safer for all skin types. So we've been waiting on the thing, the magical thing, and now it's here. So this is shown to cut down your treatment packages by half. That's how much faster and how much more effective it is. So we're excited to get our hands in there.
Yes, I'm sure everyone saw my armpits posted, all over Instagram. But me and JC were talking today, and we just did that one treatment, and I think we both said we've only shaved once, maybe twice since then. I mean, it's crazy how fast it's cut that down during one session.
So yours is too. Yeah, she was telling me she hasn't shaved since she did that.
Can't imagine what 3 will do. I'm like, get me in there. Get my legs, get my arms, do it all.
I did that. I'm sure you probably did laser hair removal. I did it probably, how old is my oldest girl? So I did it, it's been 15 years plus since I did my laser hair removal. I did my legs, my underarms, my bikini, all the things. And because I do have lighter, thin hair, it literally took me 10 treatments everywhere to do all of that. So over the years, your hormones, you live a little longer, you grow hair in new places and weird places, and it moves from your eyebrows to your toes. My eyebrows, that's what happened. That's what happened. The hair from my eyebrows went to my toes. And so, I got lazy and comfortable just not having to shave. And so the past few years, I'll be laying by the pool and in that pose where, you're so cute and you think you're looking good. And then somebody will go, what is that? And then it'll be a long one flapping in the wind. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I've forgotten, it takes maintenance. Yeah. But I'm the same way. So I had those cleanup things, those little hairs I had to clean up, and I haven't messed with them since we did that, just that one treatment. So that's really exciting. So if you can do it in half the time, and it is No Shave November, so we're gonna help y'all out.
In it.
So we say the trifecta of anti-aging, right, Jace? We call it the 3 Ps. But we have developed this protocol. And if you follow this protocol and do a combination of these 3 things, you can avoid surgical intervention. Those 3 things are PDO threads, Neogen plasma device, and plasma pen. So we're dealing with plasma technology and PDO threads. Again, all of which, and I made a list of why we like all of these things better than surgical intervention or fillers where we shouldn't put fillers. Now, I'm all about some filler where you need it, right, Jace? I'm all about some lips. I'm all about if I need it right there, I need it. Sometimes we're still gonna have to hit these little triangles, but not the whole fold, not the whole nasolabial fold. We're not gonna have to put voluma in our cheeks. What we were doing, guys, is our faces are falling. They fall down like old pantyhose, said it 100 times. It wears out, it gets old, it sags, falls off of its structure. Well, until now, we've been it's falling down here, so let's stick some filler down here. And wherever the new us was, we're following it and putting filler in it, right? How long is that gonna look good? Until you're about 50 is what I've decided. About 50 is where the buck stops here. You have to make a change, and you have to do it in a different way. Using the PDO threads, we're going to add volume, but we're gonna add structure, more importantly. So once that skin falls, we're gonna put it back in place with our PDO threads. We've got tons. I would love for you to go and look at some of JC's, the PDO threads in the highlights. Is that where it is on our Instagram? Mm-hmm. Go to the highlights on our Instagram and you can see what we're talking about with all of these things. So make sure you click on those little circles because you'll be able to document a lot of what we've been doing up here. So we put the skin back where it goes with our PDO threads. And then we put a whole bunch of different kinds of threads. JC, would you talk to us a little bit about PDO threads, the types of threads that we use, what they're used for, and why that matters for anti-aging?
Okay, so PDO threads are basically just a medical grade suture. It's the exact same material that you would say have stitches placed if you cut, your hand and you go to the emergency room. They dissolve over about 6 months inside of the body. But the cool thing about these threads is once they're placed inside of the skin, they're going to build up really nice, beautiful collagen rings. Our threads are going to go away in about 6 months or so, but those rings are going to stay there for about 2 years. So we've got a couple of different kinds of threads, and it gets kind of confusing. But we have barbed ones, and these are the big ones that everybody's like, oh my gosh, that looks terrifying. But they're really not. They're attached to lidocaine. They're awesome. They're not uncomfortable. These guys are the ones that we typically lay against our cheeks, our jaws, and then our under the neckline area. So these are the guys that really give you the nice lift, and they give you the pull. So that's what's generating that little tug back up. We call it our lunchtime facelift. There is another kind that is twisty. So I want you to think of these guys. They're shorter, they're really small. They go inside of our nasolabial folds, or really deep crevices, like whenever we see our 11s right here that have been forming for a really long time. We can put those twists in those big old creases like that. Because it's a higher profile thread with that twist, we're going to build a larger collagen ring around those guys. And then there's a smooth version, and those are also really small, in and outs. And we lay these across the marionette lines. We can do eyebrow lifts with these. We can help with our little neck folds across here. We can put those any place that you have a small wrinkle that you want to build back out, or you just want to provide structure, volume, and just add collagen underneath there.